Hey crew, it's Pitt, and I'm back with another reaction video. Today we're going to be checking out one that I've already checked out, but we got a good discussion out of it last time, and we might get a good discussion out of it this time, and this time we have visuals to go with it. So we're going to be checking out Becker, Dear Yahweh. He got the video out. Y'all make sure y'all get back over there and check it out. Let's dig in and see what's up. Bag it up, bag it up.
Are you walking right beside me?
So close that you can't even see. he literally envelops you.
Are you walking right beside me? It gets so hard to recognize the face I've never seen. I can feel him right behind me.
But you have seen his face. Like, you may not have seen the glory of God's face, right? You haven't seen the entirety of God, because no man will ever be able to see the entirety of God. God is the entirety of all things. But you have seen his face. When somebody you don't know just randomly does an act of kindness for you, that is God smiling at you. That's what's happening. Whenever somebody gets you mad at them, that is God showing you something about yourself that you want to correct, right? The face of God is revealed to us every single day. Every single time that you look in anyone's eyes, you are seeing God reflected. Every single time that you look at an animal or a tree or the beauty of a landscape, you are seeing God's face, right? And like, again, when I say these things and I talk about these things, I'm never attacking an artist, right? I'm just expressing ideas. That these songs give me ideas. And God is so intrinsically part of everything that everything you look at is God. Sometimes it's not the best expression, right? Our free will makes us act idiots. And so we don't express God the way that we should, but we are still created by him. And so every single face you see is his. And the faces of love and kindness and the people who are actually living for him, those are the faces of God that you get to see here on earth. I love it. I love it.
Their voices keep on lying through the teeth.
Yeah, people are liars.
Is that you holding my hand? I need it like I did when Mama walked across the street. You told me you had all the plans. Every step I take, I pray it's you guiding my feet.
You know how you tell? You tell by the fruit, right? You can tell by what comes out of the action, right? So if you are performing an action and your feet are walking the path, right? So if you are performing the action and the fruit of that is love, truth, justice, peace, acceptance, that is the walk of God. And if you walk it and it has division, hate, injustice, greed, lust, then it is not. And so you look ahead to the projected outcome, and you can see that path. I love it. I'm getting so much out of this, and this is the second watch through. Normally I don't even do that.
Step I take, I pray it's you guiding my feet.
I'm loving the deer back there too. That's food.
Are you walking right beside me? Some nights I try and look at you in my periphery. I know to see you would be blinding, but I wonder if I've ever really seen. I don't even think I'd mind it going dark, because I saw the brightness of your cheeks. Instead of looking for the signs, I'd really turn a blind eye. Maybe then I'd see. Dear Yahweh, lately nothing's really going my way. All I wanna do is go the right way, but when it comes to pressure, I'm a lightweight.
I know that feeling too, right? There's pressure and there's pressure, right? And some pressure, I'm perfectly fine with some pressure. Like if you come at me in an aggressive manner, I am perfectly okay with flexing back. But if I feel like I am overstepping my bounds, then I will fold before some pressure, right? And it's the craziest thing. It really is.
Dear Yahweh, they all think I'm crazy when I say I'm just riding shotgun while you're driving. Feels like going backwards down the highway.
I don't have no control over this. What is going on? I'm going crazy. That is real.
Do you hear me when I'm calling?
When them doors start opening and you're like, is this real? Like, did that really just happen? Did that door really just happen like that? And yeah.
Do you hear me when I'm calling? Are you crying with me right under the sheets? I don't know just what to call it, but there's a presence that I feel when I can't sleep. Did you know that I would fall again? Did you know you didn't want to know the truth? I keep trying just to crawl back. When I finally claw back, I ruin something new.
I love that. I love that turn of phrase right there. I love it.
Crawl back. When I finally claw back, I ruin something new.
Just trying to crawl back, and when I finally claw back, I done ruined something new. That's because you're trying to claw back to the wrong thing most of the time, right? I'm not judging the guy. I'm judging the sentiment. And most of the time, when we're trying to claw our way back and we're struggling so hard, it's the wrong thing, right? It's a person that didn't return our love a lot of the time, or a job that did not appreciate our efforts a lot of the time, or friendships that just did not have fruit. But we try so hard to just get that feeling of acceptance back, that feeling of at least I had this back, instead of looking at what could be, right? The actual things. I found something, right? I found something in my own personal life, is that if you're fighting that hard for it, then it's probably not the right thing, right? If you have to convince yourself, right? Let's thought exercise. If you have to convince yourself and talk yourself into spending time with a person, that's not the person for you. Or if you have to willfully pull yourself away, that's not the person for you either, right? You should be able to maintain equilibrium fairly easily. That's not to say there won't be highs and that there won't be lows, right? But you shouldn't be fighting too hard either way, to be with them or to be away from them. It should be a natural thing. And that's not just in relationship situations, that's in job situations, that's in interpersonal friendships, right? Yes, you need to make an effort to be a part of people who you value's life, but you shouldn't have to fight yourself to do that. If so, then there's probably something in that relationship that you at least need to address. That's not to say that you need to cut nobody off, but there's a very good chance that there is something about that relationship that you don't feel comfortable about, that you are like, I don't want to deal with them because of this. And if you don't deal with that, then you need to not deal with them, right? You need to just let it. And so that's a hard thing to do, right? But if you're clawing for it, if you're fighting to get to it, then it's probably not what God has for you. It's probably not your goal in life. Or it probably shouldn't be your goal in life, because you get to set your own goals. You get to say what you want to be. And a lot of us set goals that are practical, that we can achieve, and that's a great thing, right? To get your foundation, then you should take whatever job comes along, and you should do that job diligently, and you should do it to the best of your ability. But if it's not bringing you actual peace, love, joy, and contentment, then it is not your greater purpose. Now, you may be meant to work that job for the rest of your life, but that is not your purpose in life. Your purpose is something else. Your purpose does bring you those things. It brings you joy, peace, love, and contentment, right? I don't know what Ben does for a living, right? But he's not getting peace from that. He's getting peace from singing to God, saying, hey, what about this? Asking these questions is bringing him peace. Singing to his God is bringing him peace, joy, love, and contentment. That's where he's feeling his natural habitat at, right? He is meant to be expressing his joy to God. Now, whether that's a paid position or not, that's his goals, his decisions. He can work a job and sing to God, work a job and sing to God. I think they got that right the first time, but probably not. And not make any money. Or he can turn that into a career. That could be his calling in life. If that is his calling, then that's going to be the easy way to go. It's going to come to him. It's going to flow to him. He's not going to have to be like, fight it, right? Like if you're waking up every day and you hate to go to work, then you're in the wrong job. There is something out there that you will enjoy. It may not be something that everybody else likes. There are people that like getting up and riding a garbage truck and picking up garbage cans. There are people that like that. There really are. I know a couple. There are people that like cutting grass. There are people that like doing the jobs that you probably consider a chore. There's something that you like doing that other people consider a chore. Find that niche. Find something that brings you happiness that is still a grind, because the grind is important too. Having the goal, setting your own goals. Like, see, he got me on a rant.
When I finally claw back, I ruined something new. Dear Yahweh, lately nothing's really going my way. All I wanna do is go the right way, but when it comes to pressure, I'm a lightweight. Dear Yahweh, they all think I'm crazy when I say I'm just riding shotgun while you're driving. Feels like going backwards down the highway.
And so you can't explain that to anybody that's not doing it. Like, you really can't. People can conceptualize it, kinda. Like, even people that go to church, right? If you go into an average church and talk to an average churchgoer and be like, yeah, I'm just letting God drive. And they're like, yeah, I get that. But they really, really don't, right? That submission is an acquired skill that most people just don't have it, right? Most people just don't have the ability. Like, well, they have the ability. They just don't have the will to let it happen. To actually turn down an offer that is too good because it is immoral. To not make that choice to do this thing that is convenient because it is immoral. To let God actually take the lead. And you can believe me or not, but one of your church deacons is out there today lying to a client about a project. One of your church deacons is out there today doing this thing. And that's not to call out the church or to call out the deacons or anything. But these people really believe that they're submitting their life to God, and they're going out and committing fornication, or they're going out and committing fraud or theft or whatever it happens to be. It is very difficult to actually let God drive the car, to actually sit in the passenger seat and be okay with not even seeing the destination sometimes. Like, you're sitting backwards in the car that he is driving, and you're watching where you've been, and that's all you get to see. He gets to know where you're going, and you get to see where you're at and where you've been. And so it's difficult. It is. It's a hard thing to submit to, and most people who don't do it cannot get that, and it makes you isolated. It makes you feel very much alone. But you're not, right? That's the time when you're surrounded by him. Sometimes he allows you to be alone so that you can get your thoughts together and get all of that together. But when it is time for that to change, then the people who are meant to be there and who share your values will show up. You have to ask for it. You have to call it into your life, right? I'm looking for the people who are meant to be part of my journey. I am looking for the people who God intends to help better me and me to better them. And when you start doing that, they pop on up. And they will help you to grow in your faith. They will help you to grow in your goals. They will help you to become the you that you want to be.
Dear Yahweh,
image right there makes me think. Right after I had my accident, story time. Right after I had my accident, right? Long story short, 2011, I got in a car wreck. It's the only hurricane that we really had, or I don't even know if it was a hurricane. I think it was a tropical storm. I had to go into work. I was doing construction materials testing, and I had to do concrete breaks for a roadway for the state. And they're very specific about when they have to be done. There's a little bit of leeway, but I was like, no, I'm going to go in. Even though there's severe weather, I can handle myself. So I went in, I did my breaks, took me like 15, 20 minutes, recorded my stuff, made my report. I left. I'm on my way home, and I was in a 4-car pileup. I was the third car. The first 3 of us stopped. The last guy did not. He hit me, knocked me in the car in front of me. We were on the inside lane of the interstate, and he knocked us through the outside lane, through the shoulder, and 10 feet into the ditch. Me and the car in front of me. I've got 6 herniations, 7 bulges. 3 of them were spinal impingements. Like, it's a whole big deal, right? And so we lost everything. And in the process of losing everything, I went looking for a place to go and pray. I went to every church in the area, and the doors were all locked. I couldn't get in to say a prayer in a house of worship anywheres in my immediate area. There was not a single place where I could go in front of an altar, right? Because my thoughts then was, this is where God was at. He is in this house that's got this cross on it. He is in this altar. He is living here in this place. And so I wanted to go in and cry out my questions as to why me. I wanted to go in there, and I wanted to just pray in the presence of God. And there was not a single house that was open for me to go in and pray to God. Not a single one of God's houses was open. So I went and I sat underneath a tree, and I talked to God, and I got my comfort. Right? I lost everything. We lost our house, our cars. We wound up living off of charity for 2 years until I could get my disability checks. I tried starting businesses. I tried doing other things. Like, I've never been idle through the whole time. I have been on a grind as much as able the entire time. I've never had much success at any of them, but I have been trying for 12 years as a disabled man to have a grind. But I found God sitting underneath a tree outside of the building when I was not welcome to go inside any of them buildings. And I got my comfort by talking directly to God with no intermediary. I got my comfort and my knowledge in all of the things that I do, the goals and the things that I am set towards now began sitting underneath a tree outside of a house that I was not allowed in. Living in someone else's house on their charity. Because I, as a man, was broken and could not. Right? I could no longer pick up my children. I had my last pick up my kid was taken from me. And my last play ball with my kids was taken from me. My last everything that I thought made a man was taken from me. And I went to the house to look for God, and I found him outside of it. Sorry, it was a rant. Narrow is the way, and that is the truth. And people don't even realize that narrowness is not really prohibitive as much as just restrictive, because there are rules that you have to pass, right? You have to live according to the rules that are set out, and they're very easy. Love your neighbor as you love yourself, and love the Lord thy God with all of thy heart, soul, and mind. That's the sum of the law. That's the whole of it wrapped up into one thing. But that is so very hard to do. Somebody cuts you off in traffic and you get mad, or somebody looks really good and you get happy. It's not the instance of it happening that is the problem as much as you dwelling on the instance of it happening, right? You look at a woman and you're like, wow, she's pretty. That's okay. But if you look at a woman and you're like, wow, she's pretty, I really want to, that's a problem. And so it's the dwelling on it that makes it a problem. It's the actual physical act of stealing something that makes it a problem. That is violence against your fellow man. Right? Stealing from someone is literally violence. I know people don't like that. They think property should be everybody's, but that is not true. Right? Some things belong to me. Some things belong to you. And if you take my things, that is violence against me. If I take your things, that is violence against you. If you live as though your brother was yourself or your sister, then you don't have the problems with the law. That way becomes very wide. It's really easy to treat other people like you would want to be treated. And that is literally the sum of the law. Love the Lord thy God with all of your heart, soul, and mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. That narrow way becomes so wide then. This was great, Ben. Thank you. I love the visuals. I love the storytelling involved in it. It is a man by himself, spending time by himself, wandering his wilderness. He is wandering, searching, and seeking. He's surrounded by people, and none of them are connecting. He is out there by himself, living in a distorted world, and he's trying to figure it out and make sense of it. And he's wondering even if there is a purpose coming out of it. Yes, there is. It is wonderful. This song is one of those purposes. You get to touch lives. People get to hear this and connect with that and to understand that there is somebody else out there searching for it. God doesn't live in a building. God is all around you and inhabits you. Even when you don't, you can intentionally keep God out. You can deny him. You cannot allow him to be part of your life. You can go against the wishes that are laid out for you. You can freely choose to do those things, but it makes your life harder. When you decide that, hey, everybody is me and I'm going to treat everybody as if they were me, your life just gets easier. It's like he just picks you up and walks you. Now, that does not mean that everything gets easy and that all your bills get paid, right? No, but it does mean that you get a sense of peace about it. You get an understanding that there is really something greater coming out of it, especially when you start seeing pieces get put down together. Ben's young, right? I'm older. I'm up there. I'm up 46, just made 46 this year. And I've been around the block a couple times. I've seen some of the pieces come together. I've been around long enough to see some of the pieces come together, and they do start coming together. If you're working and walking where you're supposed to, the pieces come together, and then all of a sudden it's like you're just manifesting reality. All of a sudden you're calling into your life all the things that you ever wanted, because you have decided to walk on God's path for long enough that it has become second nature to you. For long enough that you really don't even get rattled by the stuff on the outside anymore. And then you get to see the pieces just start to flow on in. And it's a beautiful thing. I cannot wait till you get to see that, Ben. Y'all make sure y'all get back over to Ben's page, give him a like, share, and a sub, throw him a comment, let him know you appreciate what he is doing. I sure do. This has been a very, very long one. This has been a bit of a rant, but okay. To the crew, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate every single minute that you are here with me, and I am praying for you every single day. Until next time, I love you. You're perfect, whole, and complete just the way that you are. And this has been Pittstake. Peace.